You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, it was actually worse than I thought it was going to be, but what do you expect when you have only 8 players available? The shorthanded Mavs, no match in Milwaukee. They fall to the Bucks tonight, 137-107. Here we go. Welcome into the Mavs postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every single game. My name is Jeff Biggs. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed. And coming up on the show tonight,
this is what you'll be talking about.
Most of all, as always, we want to hear from you via the comment crew. So please jump in. Lots to talk about, lots to say. It's been a rough couple of days. It's been a rough season, as you well know. But coming up on our segment tonight, we have 2 segments now. We're kind of tweaking things here a little bit. We'll talk about the Mavs, only 8 players in uniform because 9 players were injured. Okay, 9 players out with injury, only 8 players available to suit up for this game tonight. I mean, it's just unbelievable. No Kai Jones, the new addition after his big debut the other night. No Dante Exum. No Jaden Hardy. No PJ Washington. Caleb Martin getting closer. But only 8 players in uniform for the Mavs tonight. Also, we're going to talk about Jason Kidd's comments before the game. Talking to the media. Got a lot to say about that. And also, we'll kind of look ahead a little bit, not only to the homestand, but more importantly, my thoughts about what should happen tomorrow when the Mavs are set to let everybody know kind of the very latest on the other injury updates. We know that Kyrie is gone for the season, but tomorrow the Mavs are supposed to give an update on Anthony Davis, on Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford, and maybe some others as well. So I have some thoughts about how I think tomorrow should go here in Dallas. But with that said, let's talk about this game a little bit tonight before we get into that.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Well, the turning point would be, I think, the tipping point, and that would be when the ball was tipped because the Mavs were outscored in the first quarter. And just so you know, I don't. This is not funny to me at all. This is not a joke. I mean, I feel like a broken record. I have said this, I believe, every single show that I've done this season. I mean, I have covered the NBA since the late 80s, and I've never seen a season like this. I've never seen anything like this with injuries. I never have, and it's just unbelievable. But with that said, the Mavs were, as expected, only 8 players in uniform. They were blown out in Milwaukee by 30, 137-107. The Mavs did have the lead a couple of times in that first quarter, but ultimately the Bucks would outscore the Mavs in the first quarter 43-30, and that would be the ball game. And that's why the Mavs, that kind of set the tone for the rest of the night. Too much Greek Freak, too much Dame, and the Bucks go on to win it by 30, 137-107. Klay Thompson led the way with 28 points. I mean, look, opportunity now for this team to just try to finish strong, try to finish as best they can with who is available. They're going to play hard as much as we are upset and as bummed out as we are, and understandably so, right? I mean, if you're a player on that team, I mean, you can be bummed out driving to the arena. You can get a little, but once you get into that locker room, I mean, you're a professional. You're being paid well, and you just got to go out and ball and do the best you can for yourself, for your own career, your own legacy, for the fans that are still going to come out and support you. And also too, every time you play, every time you step out on that court, you're auditioning. There's video. So, and I have no doubt that this group will continue to fight and play hard and show up as they have done all season. But now, as we've seen now with this 3-game losing streak and 5 out of 6 that the Mavs have now lost, I keep saying it, now you're seeing the good teams pull away and take things to another level. And the Mavs being shorthanded, it just finally caught up with them. And so here we are. And we're going to talk more about that. But I'm right now, I'm just trying to start off here with the game. Not much to recap. Klay led the way with 28. Good to see Naji kind of get going. This is something that, we've been talking about for really since the beginning of the year. Naji kind of taking his game to another level. The Mavs really need him to emerge as, a solid, consistent contributor. He had 22 points, finally knocked down a couple of threes. I thought that was good. Also, Max Christie finally getting back into the groove a little bit. He had 13, including a couple of threes as well, played 36 minutes. And a guy that, again, I hope that we can really kind of see here and get a good look at the rest of the way is Brandon Williams. I like his game. I haven't seen enough. I mean, I have seen enough, but I'd like to see more is what I'm trying to say. And I think he has upside. I really do. And I would like to see him get an opportunity. He ended up playing 34 minutes tonight. So hopefully that will continue and we'll get a chance to see him get going. Kessler Edwards did better with 7. Omax a little better with 9. So again, all of these guys now are going to have an opportunity, 20 games or less now, less than 20 now, but to try to improve. Look, no pressure, just go out and ball, play hard, and try to improve and get yourself some momentum going into next season. I mean, that's really all you can do. All right, let's get our first comment of the night. Soul Man, Dallas with a picture of a trash can. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, aside from the 30-point loss on the court, I mean, off the court, the Mavs are the Mavs front office, and specifically Nico Harrison, they are getting recycled like trash with, I mean, they are absolutely just getting crushed for where things are. And when we come back, I want to get into that. We're going to talk about what's going on in the public, Jason Kidd's comments before the game, and I want to let you know what I think should happen tomorrow when the Mavs meet with the media and give everybody the updates. All right. This game tonight, though, not much to say. 137-107, the final. You don't need me to we don't need to break it down too much more than that, other than 8 players were available, and they they're going to have an opportunity now to finish, and hopefully we'll see some bright spots and some of the young guys kind of step up. Soul Man says they need to trade Spencer Dinwiddie need to be off the team. Well, tell you what, Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy that I think they were kind of hoping would be a little bit more of a stable leading presence, and he's had some moments this season where he's done that, but it seems like this season the off games have been just too much. I mean, he'll have a good game, be off a few games, and then contribute again a few games later. And, for what the Mavs are going to need, I mean, the Mavs are going to be in a situation next season where, I mean, every roster spot is going to be critical, and they're going to have to really get creative and do a lot of different things, but they're going to have to find the right pieces. And I think one thing that we've seen, and I think Nico Harrison is learning that it's not easy, and there's a reason why the great GMs kind of stand out, and there's a reason why there are many GMs across the league that can never get the roster and get their team over the hump. It's not as easy as it looks. And the other part of that, the other side of that coin is you have to have star players. And so when you make a trade like the Luka trade, it just, man, we'll see. We're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see how that plays out. All right, quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to get into, again, tomorrow, Jason and Kidd's comments and a whole lot more as we wrap things up. This is the Mavs postcast on a Tuesday night. Actually, it's Wednesday night, not Tuesday night. It just feels like Tuesday. Okay, so we've got this one break that we're doing here. So we're doing things a little bit different, and need to talk to you about open phone. And if you're running a small business, that means you're wearing a lot of hats, and your personal phone becomes your business phone. And before you know it, you are juggling customer calls day and night. So as your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where open phone comes in. It's the number one business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, maybe two now, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. So right now, Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/lockedonnba. That's openphone, openphone.com/lockedonnba for 20% off 6 months. Openphone.com/lockedonnba. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. And with that said, in addition to what's going on with Open Phone, got to let you know what's also happening with BetterHelp. All right. And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. And what and who is in your support system? We all need people to lean on, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or professionals. Even the strongest leaders and athletes know that asking for help makes them better. Therapy is one of the best ways to build a strong support system. It's not just for tough times. It helps with setting boundaries, developing coping skills, and becoming the best version of yourself. So here's a couple of examples. You can learn to ask for help. There are everyday benefits. Therapy is not just about crisis moments. It's a tool for self-improvement, stress management, and navigating life's challenges. And it's convenient and accessible. BetterHelp is fully online, making it easier than ever to connect with a licensed therapist from anywhere. With over 30,000 professionals available, you can find the right fit and switch anytime at no extra cost. So build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, welcome back to the Mavs postcast after the Mavs fall in Milwaukee, 137-107. Soul Man jumping in with some more comments about being harsh and being honest. Hey, I feel you, my man. Look, it's been like I said, it's been a tough couple days. It's been a tough season. It's been a tough start to the year. In case you missed it, head coach Jason Kidd addressed the media a little bit before the game in Milwaukee, and as he pointed out, Kyrie Irving's season-ending ACL injury was a freak accident, not because of Kyrie's workload. And that is one thing I agree with Kidd 100%. That had nothing to do with workload or minutes or, I mean, honestly, that's like one of the dumbest takes I think I've ever heard in NBA. It had nothing to do with workload. He landed wrong driving to the basket. It's that simple. I mean, it had nothing to do with minutes. I think we're sadly we're just in this. We've developed this mindset of just trying to come up with these weird answers to things instead of we just become lazy instead of doing the homework and seeking the truth, and we get caught up in these weird narratives with things, and it's that's a whole other topic for another show. But no, that Kyrie's injury had nothing to do with his minutes or his workload. Now, with that said, for Nico Harrison and the Mavs front office, this is what I think they need to do. When the Mavs get back home and they update the media and they let everybody know what's going on, Nico and maybe the team president, they need to get out in front of this, and they need to take it. They need to take some tough questions. They need to give some answers. They need to have a little bit of humility, and they also need to give the fans a little hope and a little reassurance that you know what, it's tough right now. The season's not going to end well. Didn't go as we planned. The trade didn't go like we thought, but here's what we're going to do. Here's what our plan is. And I just think, the more there's darkness and light. The more you hide out and the more you try to cover and hide, no, be transparent, tell the truth. Hey, you just tell the truth. You made the trade. You didn't think Luka was going to be the guy. You thought AD with this roster with Kyrie that you can make a run. Just own it. It didn't work out. You know what? AD's still hurt. Probably, I don't think it makes sense now with 18 games left to go. I mean, unless maybe at the end of the month he's 100%. But even then, why? I mean, at this point, why risk him doing something, re-aggravating it more, and then having it linger into training camp? Or just let it heal, let him be ready to go for training camp. Try to get him, in shape and ready to go. We'll see about Kyrie and what happens with him. But I mean, there's a lot of work to do. I mean, the Mavs are going to have to do a lot of work to retool this roster, and so let's use this final stretch of games to really take a look at guys, kind of see who you want to bring back, who you don't want to come back. I'm thinking Derek Lively, probably you're not going to want to mess with his foot because of his size. You'll want to let that heal before bringing. There's no reason for him to possibly tweak it at this point. And but I would hope that, PJ Washington should be back at some point. We'll see about Gafford. I think he would like to play a little bit, finish his season. So that's I think that's what the Mavs need to do, because right now on the court and then in the court of public opinion, I mean, they're just continuing to lose. I mean, it's a loss right now, and they need to kind of turn that around. And I mean, the guys are doing their part. The players are showing up. They're playing hard. They're trying to win. They're trying to do their part. But I think Nico and the front office, I think they need to get out there and get in front of this, and just, again, let the fans know that, okay, there's a plan, and we're going to do this, and we're going to try to do that. I know, you can't tamper, right, at this point in the season, but I think you can say, hey, you know what, we're gonna get this turned around, because you got to have hope. You got to give your fan base hope. You got to give them something to root for and something to look forward to. I mean, nothing worse than feeling like your team has no chance, and they don't. The season's over this season, but you gotta think, okay, then we got to find a way to turn this around and get back for next season. And in the meantime, for me, as bad as all of that is, when the games start, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be doing this with you, and I'm going to be rooting for the guys that can play and trying to see the good, hoping that certain guys will improve, and just wishing that they'll all be able to grow and get better and take it to that next level. But it's ugly right now. I mean, there's no spin, there's no sugarcoating it. I mean, the trade was not a good trade, and it's not working out that way. And now it's even worse. And now the Kyrie injury is made that even worse. So it's a dark time, it's a bad time, and now it's up to, this is when leaders have to lead. This is when, the men step up and the men go first, and you got to lead. And so anyway, that's going to do it for my time tonight. Again, don't forget, Nick and the crew with the regular everyday Locked On Mavs podcast, just great work all season long. There's a reason why Nick and his coverage is the best for the Mavs anywhere. There's a reason why he has the support that he has. So, be sure and stick with him. He'll have all the info and the very latest on all the news tomorrow. And then the Mavs will be home for big weekend. Memphis on Friday night and the Suns on Sunday. Both big games. If the Mavs could upset the Suns on Sunday, that would be great. That would help them in the standings, depending on who's able to play. But they're going to fight. They're going to keep going, and we'll just have to finish the season and hope that good things are ahead for the off season for sure. All right, thank you, Soul Man, for jumping in. Appreciate it. I read everything you said. I agree with you, and unfortunately, in this world that we live in this instantaneous world that we live in, I wish we could hit the fast forward button and get to June and July, but we can't. So it's going to be a long month and a half to finish this regular season, and a long few months before we get to the NBA off season. But the final tonight, the Mavs fall in Milwaukee, 137-107. Thank you for tuning in and watching another edition of the Mavs Postcast. I will be back with you on Friday night when the Mavs return home to take on the Grizz. Again, the final tonight, 137-107. This has been the Mavs Postcast.